So this is a very old piece, and the top it's maple and marble. And it's super heavy. It's crazy heavy. And that's, I'm sure, the reason why it's broken off of the base. Hi everyone, welcome to Glacier Trading Company. I'm Craig. Join me from my remote northern location as I buy and sell antiques, collectibles, vintage, and old guitars. I buy from auctions, estate liquidations, both public and private, and resell online. Hang out with me for a bit and see what I got this week, and meet some of the local wildlife that live in my backyard. Let's get to it. So I started gluing this up some time ago. I needed my bench for something else while it was drying, and it got kicked off to the side, and I really need to finish it. This is old. This is super old. I don't think it's 1700s, but it's pretty close. And it's all carved. Crazy. Really super cool. So it normally had 4 of these little tangs. And in the box of pieces, this is all that was left. So this one, I think, matches up in this corner somehow, but it's been glued a couple times. The glue has failed, and now it doesn't fit there very good anymore. So I really have no way to attach this top, and if you look, 2 of these spots are still available. That one might fit there. No way it's going in there. And these 2 are broke off inside. So I don't think it would be a crime to smooth that off. Maybe get the one remaining one to fit. And then flipping this whole thing upside down and running, drill these out here, glue it, and run some screws up from the bottom into this. I don't have a lot of room to play with. That's maybe 5/8, so I'd have to stop short of that. But I think that's the only way to repair this with the lack of pieces that are here. All the rest of it seems to be there. There was some kind of pieces that went in here. You can see that or not. See the gaps in here? Looks like these ends met better. But that's the problem with all hand-carved furniture that's really old. There's no interchangeability. I mean, once the part is broken and gone to the winds of time, there's really little to no option. I'm just hoping that once this is on, and this wouldn't seat anyway, because even if that would fit in there. Part of me is afraid to push down and I'll never get it back off. I suspect once it's in place, this might not loom out at you too much. You know, these gaps here, because it's very busy. There's a lot going on. I don't know that your eye gets drawn into that particular spot. But I don't want to refinish it. I want to keep it as original as possible, but I think that's the only good way to secure that top. And this piece is so old, I suspect they didn't have any other fasteners to connect this to this. I think everything was just some sort of hole and a peg, and you glued it in and hope for the best. But that top is insanely heavy because it's rock in there, you know? And over the time, these little corner pieces just snapped off, and that's that. So that's what I'm going to try to do. It's not the way I would really hope to finish it, but I've stared at this thing for a couple months now, and I'm really just out of ideas on how to. No matter what I do, it's going to be some kind of alteration from its original design and build. So might as well use some modern fasteners, make sure that thing isn't going to fall over, and just move on. Sorry about that, you guys. For whatever reason, they're doing some construction out at the end of my driveway, and they must have clipped a line or something. All the lights went out. So I've got the overhead door open. We got a little bit of light, and I'm just going to keep moving forward on this, and then we'll go outside and we'll do something out there. Where was I? Oh, with it. Oh, what a heavy beast. It's too bad there's some light scratches in the marble. I don't have any idea what to do about that. So I'm not a stone guy. I don't imagine this will make it look any better. What is that? Sorry about that. Need a little rubbing compound to knock that right out. Oh, you know, it'd work good on that. The magic rubbing agent. Toothpaste. With whitener. Why do I have toothpaste in my shop? Doesn't everybody? I mean, you go out to lunch, you come back, your breath smells like I don't know what it smells like, but not good. Then a client will come over and, wow, between the orange and the toothpaste, this table smells sweet. Pretty good. Man, does that stuff work good? I know you can't see it as well as I can, but there's no trace of that whatsoever. A little more of this stuff. Not sure what I want to do with this. I can't sell it online because I'll never get this in a box. Boy, when you ship as much stuff as I ship, all those guys like to do is smash stuff. I once had a Kenwood stereo delivered in a kiddie pool. The customer was wild at me. I'm like, you could have packed it better. What could I have done? Put it in a submarine? I don't know. Some of those delivery people just snap once in a while. I think everybody snaps once in a while. But I've never thrown a Kenwood in his kiddie pool. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it on this one for now. Oh, I didn't see that. I could probably make that go away. Works like magic. You wipe 99% of it back off, but when you have bare wood like that, the stain just, especially when it's real old dry wood like this, the stuff is a sponge. It just sucks it right in there. gonna call that good enough. All right. Let's go find something else to terrorize. There it is. Pretty, functional, sturdy. Awesome. Put that on display here with something cool on top of it. I moved a bunch of stuff out of the antique store over here so I could get this cabinet in. And this thing. Now when I bought this, this was in 2 pieces. They had the top shelf unit on one side of the auction, and they had this base somewhere else. What I don't like about the base are the doors. The doors were put on later. These doors were not original to the piece. This is kind of a primitive cabinet. It would have just been open like that. You know, you can tell these aren't much for latches. And the inside of these doors have modern hardware. And at first I thought somebody just upgraded it. This clearly it's been worked over a little bit. I would call it maybe a soft restoration, you know. They probably wanted to make sure that the original saw cuts were kept in there. And I get the feeling it like maybe was oiled, like they maybe cleaned it up and then oiled it. But the doors are gonna go. They don't belong on here. Those hinges are actually quite special. They're early Japanese. Those are actually copper. And I'll probably save those for something else, but yeah, the doors are gonna come off. It's not really where it needs to be completely yet because it's leaning because of how the floor was poured in here. I wanted to make sure it drained good to the floor drain. And so it makes for all of these to be like really off level. So I need to pick up some cedar shake tomorrow when I'm in town at the big box store so I can make this thing completely level. And so that's why everything's in disarray. I've got stuff pulled apart and kind of scattered around the room right now just to make a hole. Well, you know, you could make an omelet, you gotta crack a few eggs, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Those are drywall screws. This is what they look like next to that special sauce we cooked up. Crazy, right? I couldn't tell what they were with the patina. I just assumed they were brass. Turned out they were not. Wow, that's deep. That's the dent. I'm already down to the wood. I'm gonna stop there. Great. Stuff feels really dry, like it should be wetter than this. Should have just made my own. whole idea of this stuff is, my hope is that it dries the same basic color as the wood here and accepts the stain pretty much like the wood does. I'm okay with leaving the indent of the hinge. They cranked the hinge down so hard that it's a big dent in the wood. But I'm not interested in sanding this a quarter of an inch down to get below that. It's a primitive, it's banged and beat. It's got all kinds of dents and holes and scratches and even original saw marks. They didn't even bother to sand the saw marks out of it before they built it, as is the case with a lot of old primitives. They just didn't have the tools in those days. This is dried up for a couple of days. It's just gonna block that smooth. It's always best to stop quick before you over sand it. Well, as you can see, I flipped it on its back. I just like that better because everything's just not running down the side and you're just trying to constantly play wipe up with it. Now pretty much everything wherever I put it, it's gonna stay. So I've got two different kinds of stain here. I've got golden oak, which is, I think it's a little too light by itself. Well, this is here it is. That's golden oak. And then this other can here is gunstock. This is brown, but it's got reds in it. You can see right here, right? But it's not all red, it's just got a reddish hue. So what I'm gonna try to attempt is to eyeball up a mix. And if you ever tried this, you know it goes perfectly every time. And I just need a dab. Oh, this goes a long way. And I'm just gonna put a splash of red in there. If I put too much in, we're going to have the color called mud. And who knows, maybe mud is it. I just have no idea. That's about all I dare put in there. Just a little dribble. So I'm just going to mix this up. I think if I don't go too heavy with this, it's going to be pretty close. That is pretty close. I can live with that. I'd rather wipe it right away and creep up on it than just gob it on and leave it there and find out, oh, it's way too dark. But it looks like there's a lot of different shades of stuff going on here. Here it's real, I haven't touched any of this area here, and dark, real light, it's all over the place. So if you're gonna mix up your own stain and risk it all, it's nice when you have a piece with no real definitive color to it. It's just like a multicolor thing. That's where the sanding was the heaviest right there. So anyway, this is where the hinges were, and I don't know. The color match is a little bit red, but you know, and I'm not done with these holes. I want to where the hinge stuff was. I want to darken that a little bit.
Well, are you gonna like clear coat it, or like what are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna put. I got some satin clear, but I'm not. I don't know how it's gonna mix with what's on here.
What is this? I mean,
Honestly, as old as this is, it's probably shellac, and I love and hate shellac. I really hate the way the finish of it, but I love it when you want to strip it because it's really easy to get it all off. And in this case, I just don't know. But another reason I hate it is it's just, you know, it's so old school. You know, they make that out of bugs, right?
bugs?
There's a yeah.
Like shellac out of bugs?
Swear to God, there's a I think it's kind of a beetle looking thing, and it's called a lac, LAC. And there's some island over in Asia called Shell, and they've got these really little people that live in the forest, and they have lac wranglers, and they have lac milkers.
Lac milkers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a beetle, so you can imagine how small their fingers have to be. I mean, you're a woman and you've got pretty petite hands. And,
Wow.
I mean, you've smelled mothballs before, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can imagine with fingers that size how difficult it is to get their little legs apart so you can smell them. But the lac people over there, their hands are so small that they can actually milk the beetle. And then the stuff they get out of the milk that they are able to get out of the beetle is what they make this shellac out of. And it takes like 100,000 beetles to make a pint.
Just little.
Yeah, you know,
Little
I mean, it is what it
cans
is.
Wow.
And you know, they use that stuff, swear to God, they use it as candy coatings. I don't know all the candy coatings that they use it on, but there's a lot of candies you
like those Boston baked beans?
That's exactly right. That they are on the list.
I wonder if that's why they have like a weird aftertaste.
It's actually a shellac made of bug secretion juice.
Wow.
I shit you not.
That must be why they don't have an expiration.
Actually, they even go farther. If you look into it, there's some kind of beetle that they completely mash its whole body up and boil it, and that's the red dye, like in the red Skittles. It's the whole color red is from boiling an entire beetles just to oblivion, and they fill these big vats up with beetles. Look it up. I know it sounds insane, but it's true. So I don't know who the first person was that was like milking a little beetle and go, hey, if we take enough of this shit and wipe it on this cabinet, it's going to look awesome. I don't know who decided that back in the day. Well, this thing's been prepped. Staining is done as far as I think it's going to go. Use some urethane, satin, fast dry. I'm not looking to just gob this on. I just want to dust it a little bit and see if I can't kind of blend this old finish, kind of get it to knit together somewhat. this can's sputtering. It's brand new. One furniture dolly away. I better put this up before somebody's hit it and takes a nose around it.
That would be me.
How come you didn't tell me you left that laying around?
Can't grip it. Nothing there. Boy, look how that floor runs downhill. That drives me crazy.
Well, probably for a reason. Wouldn't you think?
Well, yeah, it's for the floor time.
Yeah.
But that's how the guy who pours the slab because you're gonna really like how that drains in there. It's like, well, I hope I don't fall because I'll do a somersault all the way until I hit the door. Now we got to get that beast
You
up
don't
there.
want to. You don't level it first. You made those for under there, right?
Could.
Otherwise, that can be like.
What I do is a level. That's right there.
He's got it.
It's off by a mile. Pretty solid, I guess.
It looks like it.
Go with that. Big He-Man lift. I got it. Just walk it back.
Walk it back. Well, there you go.
Well, I didn't do anything with this. Just this. So as a display piece, it looks perfectly at home here. Looks really great in the old antique shop. Really looks at home in here. Great display piece. You can't really even see where. Let's see, let me put the camera right on it. Where is it? Right there. It's literally 2 inches in front of it. That's about a foot. It's about 2 feet. It's probably about 3 feet. I don't think you're ever going to make it look perfect unless you just go and sand it out of there. That's it. Looking good. Perfect display piece for the old antique shop.